Hi everyone, I'm here with our CEO at ArevMedia, Arman. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So I'll be conducting an interview with you today and ask you some questions, and let's get going.
Absolutely.
I want to start with what inspired you to start the company ArevMedia?
Yeah, so that's a great question. At first, ArevMedia started, to be honest, ArevMedia started as a way to take care of myself. So there is ArevMedia has been a multiple things during multiple times. We've changed, which is awesome, to survive and to thrive. At first, it was a web development agency when I was like a solopreneur. Then it ended up evolving into a team in around 2020. At the beginning, it was about me. To answer the question. It was about me surviving. But I think I think this realization has come later, like probably around. I think I've always had this realization. I never could execute on this. Probably, sometimes you just need to stay. Sometimes, I think it's the bamboo tree. Sometimes it stays underground for a long time and then it sprouts extremely high, but it stays maybe for years or for a long time underground. So during that time, I had to learn that it was not about me. I had to learn that I needed to get better. I needed to take better care of the clients. All these things, better at sales, better as a leader, all these things. And I think eventually it went from, this is just a business to make more money, to really the epiphany moment was when I went to the last R8 Day Summit in November, which was before, it's how funny how things work, before we had this huge growth. And Ed Milet was talking about how are you going to change history? How are you going to make history? How are you going to contribute to the world with your company and what you do? And what was it? History, contribution, and impact. And how are you going to do those things? And I've always been super passionate about Armenia. Always been super passionate about it. I never knew how to execute, I'm going to go to protests, okay. I'm going to try to deliver food to Artsakh people during the blockade. But that was not enough. And so at some point, I realized that it was all about building a great company and basically changing Armenia, which is what I tell you, all of you guys, changing Armenia with marketing, making history with Armenia with marketing. How? Well, how are we, and that was I'll go into that, but that was the pivotal moment. It went from, hey, this is just a job, this is just a marketing agency, I make money, I make good money, I don't care about anything else. Yeah, great, we hired some people, whatever, I'm happy, to, hey, we have this huge mission here that we need to accomplish, and I need people, and I want to, those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world, can change it. And so, all that to say that moment in November is when I realized that I need to stop. The two biggest lessons were that we are living here. You might as well strive to create greatness, excellence, make history with what you're doing, and make a real impact. We're all going to live here whether we do that or not, so we might as well do it, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, it was all about, would you rather, this is a second concept that I learned that was very interesting, is would you rather volunteer at a kitchen soup, how do you say, is that correct, kitchen soup place, or would you rather own the kitchen soups? And so I was focused before on, hey, let me just try help here, let me just try to volunteer, when instead, if I had to tell myself some advice back then, it's dude, just focus on freaking growing your marketing agency. You're going to hire, at this point, we have 10, 11, 12 people in Armenia full time, which is a huge deal. I'm so happy. But that's what I should be focused on. I should be focused on hiring in Armenia, providing careers, providing opportunities for other people in Armenia. And so when my mind got right on those two things, on my mission, my huge ass mission, and then the way I am supposed to contribute to Armenia, everything got clear. And now it's just just trying to get better. And to finish with the mission and vision for everybody listening, the mission and vision of ArevMedia is to change Armenia with marketing. How? By building an exceptional elite team of marketers in Armenia that can take the knowledge and know-how that we have with our US clients, our Canadian clients. See, like, there's a lot of people around the world that listen, it is what it is. They work for Europe. They work in Europe and they do marketing. They work in Armenia and they do marketing. They work in all these other places and they do marketing. Listen, that's good and that's cute, but the most extreme market and most hardest and competitive market is the US. And so by us mastering that for our clients and for ourselves, we will be able to then take that knowledge, deploy it back into Armenia and change shit. And the example I brought the whole team the other week is like Azerbaijan doesn't know any better. Our enemy that's stealing our lands, trying to conquer more lands, killing our youth, doing all these things. They spent $1 million on a fake book to promote their theory about how our lands are theirs. But we could come in if we have a great and amazing team. We could come in with $100,000, not $1 million, maybe $50,000 or $10,000, and do what that $1 million book could do. The way I see it is that we are just like a soldier is on the soldier in the front lines in Armenia. We, you, me, Harut, everybody that's on the team, Hovo, Nare, Sose, Nune, everybody on the team, we are the soldiers of marketing for Armenia. We are the soldiers of marketing for Armenia. So we need to take that duty, and when we take that duty, we will change Armenia. We will make all these things better. There's all these problems in Armenia. People leave Armenia because they think it's a shithole. People, when they stay, they're not happy the situation they're in. They don't know they can progress. They feel, in this like Soviet pessimistic environment. That's also a problem. People don't get trained, don't get guns. They are in a hopeless situation. That's all marketing. People, boys and girls, don't understand that they need to take care of their body. They need to be great. They need to build families and to make the country great again. That's all marketing, Harut. That's all marketing. There's nothing else. That's all marketing. And so our enemy is trying to influence us to give up, to do all these things, when in reality, we have, as a marketing agency, I believe we have the power to change Armenia.
That's great. I think you mentioned a few things that really stand out as far as ArevMedia's vision. What are some other ways that differentiates ArevMedia from other Armenian companies, for example?
That's a great question. So, from what I've heard, what do you think? You know what? I'm going to ask you. Do you have experience working for Armenian companies?
Yes.
Okay. So, what are the bad things that they have, and then I'll tell you how are we different.
Sure. So, very little growth.
Okay.
Very little acknowledgement of good work. You're getting paid for it. Of course, you're going to do a great job. Mm-hmm. Like, why should I thank you for the job that you did, for example? Mm-hmm. And zero to minimum anything related to bettering Armenia. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that's what we're different with in some ways. I mean.
Yeah, I think little appreciation, overworking, lack of respect or disrespect. All this, I mean, you don't need to work for an Armenian company. You just need to have like an Armenian dad or mom, and you will have the same experience. I think mostly like this unpaid work. It's unpaid work.
It all makes sense now, right?
Yeah. Like one day full of unpaid work, and like you freaking sweat, you do all this, and at the end it's like you barely did anything. What are you talking about? Anyway, that's what you hear from them. But I think it's the same. I think this is something that has been translated from generation to generation to generation. It has stuck with old school business owners, but I think the new people, the new entrepreneurs coming, we have a responsibility to set new standards, higher standards, and honestly, just to understand that people working for you, it's a privilege. I honestly, like, sometimes, like, I sit back and, like, I'm like, wow, like, there's like 10, 11, 12, like, there's like 10 people that believe in the vision, believe in what we're doing here after so many years of just grinding alone. But wow, there is people, like, I take that as a responsibility, as an owner, as a privilege. And I think first thing is, like, people need to have that. They need to have that type of mentality. But also, I think if we want Armenia to be great, I think the Armenian companies need to start being great. And since you are a repat, I think we need to create an amazing environment, because Armenians in Armenia, young, bright Armenians, boys, girls, men, women, and Armenians in outside Armenia, that's what they probably thinking, the bad that we just discussed. They don't appreciate you, overwork, exploited, this, that, the other. That's what's going to happen in Armenia. Well, I and other people, all of us entrepreneurs, business owners, have the responsibility to make sure we attract this amazing talent, not only from, and set the new standard, not only for people in Armenia, but for people outside of Armenia, to say, hey, I'm Armenian and I live in LA, I live in Europe, I want to come to Armenia, relocate to Armenia, and work for this great company. Don't you think that Armenian companies, if they're freaking awesome Armenian companies, that people from the biggest, we were talking with the Repat Armenia team, one of the biggest issues is getting people to come and have a good job here. They live in Europe. When they move when they do the transition, they think, and probably it's true, that they're going to have a job that sucks, minimal pay, overwork. That's what probably is going to happen. So we need to set a new standard in terms of making more money for employees, how people are treated, the growth, not instead of being stuck for 10 years in the same place. And that comes from me as a leader in our leadership team of, we can't settle. We can't get comfortable. I think we're in a war. I think whether we like it or not, we are in a real war, but I also think that we're in a business war. Either we take clients away from other people, clients and employees, which we've done from other agencies and other businesses, or they will take them away from us. And it's a war. And we gotta focus on that war. I think, just to finish, I think business owners, entrepreneurs in Armenia and outside of Armenia should think about two things. They should think about relocating and building teams in Armenia because we are Armenians at the end of the day. I don't need to explain that. And the second thing is they need to create an amazing environment to attract these brilliant people. There are so many brilliant people living outside of Armenia that the reasons why they don't come is because there's not enough amazing opportunities in Armenia. The place is awesome to live to, but what are you going to do for work? You can't just live in, you got to have amazing work opportunities here in Armenia for you to stay in Armenia. So it's up to us, just to recap, as business owners, as business leaders, to develop such an amazing environment that we can attract the top level talent from around the world, and they want to come work in Armenia. And we have a lot of things on our side, nature, food, people, but the opportunities need to be better.
Yeah, I agree. And personally as well, like most people that I speak with from back home in LA, that's the main problem, is work. So I fully agree with what you're saying on that. I want to move forward to how do you see our company's position in the market evolving over the next decade?
Oh, that's such a great question. I can answer it multiple ways. So I think that we have a core value. One of our core values is create a culture of innovation and impact. Our industry, I think, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you can build an insurance business, grind out for 20 years, have your book of business, and you can write that. These people are going to refer other people, family members, have more kids, this, that, the other. You're good, you're set into the sun, everything is good. A marketing agency, you don't innovate, you don't change. Every month, and you're dead. I think you're dead. I think an agency that doesn't innovate, especially now with AI, which we can talk about, an agency doesn't innovate I think an agency doesn't innovate for 6 months and they could be nearly dead. And then if they don't even innovate in a year, I think they're completely dead. So I think a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency, maybe, I don't know if it's the same about like traditional, like print agencies and stuff like that. I don't know that world, but I know in the digital space, 6 months and you're done. And there is a lot of people who think that, I think all other agency owners, other business owners, they think that, oh, Facebook is going to be here forever. We deal with Facebook ads. Oh, Google is going to be here forever. And people, the younger audience now, Harut, they are Googling restaurants to go and eat to on TikTok. Do you understand how huge that is? Like they're not using Google. And you know what else they're not using? Instead of Google, they're going to ChatGPT to ask questions instead of freaking Google. So you guys, all of us, I think we need to have this super present, and always, you, me, anybody in the company, always look for ways to innovate. The day we innovate is the day we die. In our industry, that is the answer. I think the innovation is the main thing. And then innovation, the second thing I wanted to do is, one thing that lacks in our industry, I think we're trying to be the example of honesty and integrity in our industry, Harut. I think there's a lot of people just taking advantage of people. I think there's a lot of people not educating our clients about what it takes to be successful with marketing, with ads and stuff like that. And I think there's also a lack of hospitality. So one of our favorite books in the company is Unreasonable Hospitality, because in restaurants, it's very, you know, when you go to a restaurant, they have unreasonable hospitality. You know what that looks like. But how does that look like in a marketing agency? Like, I want to ask everybody, like here listening, do you know what unreasonable hospitality looks in a marketing agency? A marketing agency is like relative newer concept, especially a digital one, versus a restaurant. Restaurants have been over for like thousands of years, probably. Restaurants have been present for thousands of years, but agencies is somewhat of a new concept. I don't know if it's 100 years old, 200, 300 years old. It's not that much. And digital agencies started when Google started, like in the 90s. So I think we have a responsibility of bringing unreasonable hospitality in the marketing agency space. And it's not going to be easy. I know it's a long journey, but I think even trying to attempt it, I know we'll get there, but I know it's not going to be maybe simple, but it's not going to be easy. And I know it's going to take us some time, but I know that when we get there, and I don't even know if it's a when. It's a range of how you are, how amazing your customer experience and your customer support is. But whenever we get to those, I think it'll be a huge moat around us and differentiates us from the competition.
That's great, and I think this can directly go into my next question. What do you believe are the most critical qualities for a successful leader in our industry? For example, for me also, unreasonable hospitality has helped me become a better leader in many ways. So I want to see what you think about this.
I think Ed Milet, one of our mentors, says the following. He says, the organization will grow at the rate that the leader grows. So I think the leader needs to keep growing, keep pushing, keep being the most uncomfortable person of the whole team. And if I am the most uncomfortable person, pushing myself as much as I can, doing 75 hard. Like if I'm doing 75 hard, I'm doing phase 1, cold showers, all that stuff, and I'm also learning as much as I can, and I'm also leading and putting immense amount of hours, I think, back into the business, back into making myself better, back into making you guys better. I think that's one of the biggest things. So I think it's one of that's first. It's like that massive obsession with seeking the next level personally for me and for the whole team. That's the first thing. But another thing is being able to understand you don't know what you don't know. So being able to search for leaders and experts and people that are next level to us or multiple levels, learning from them. And also listening to the team. There's thousands of ideas, amazing ideas that the team has that we need to take advantage of, because me from the top, I can't understand, I can't see that. So I think it's, again, continuous improvement as an owner. And also bringing the team along, not just like, hey, I'm gonna do everything, but it's like, hey, let's do 75 together. We're gonna do a hike, and a lot of companies would just like, hey, let's just have a company dinner, we're done. But the hike is important because health is important, because physical health is important also, mental health is important also, which is tied to physical health. And so I think that's part of it. And also, again, being open to feedback, criticism from employees, from everybody, and being open to mentors that have been there, done that. I think those are the answers.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, because seeing how much you work, how many hours you put in, and also our COO, Hovannes, when I see that, it also motivates me to push myself even more anytime I see that. So I think those are great leadership qualities as well. Someone on a lower level in the company sees somebody higher than them doing all this, and you have no excuse. You want to be like them. You want to work and get the results like them.
And especially if you know that, someone came, like Hovo, for example, in December, and we're 6 months in, and has all these responsibilities, all this pay, and all these other things. If you didn't know that, or that was not the case, then you'd be like, okay, he works so hard, it doesn't matter if he works hard or not, it doesn't matter. But if you see Hovo growing, taking on more stuff, getting paid more, having all these opportunities, then now that's a different conversation, right?
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Arman, what are the biggest challenges the company is currently facing?
Oh, I love this question. So I have a huge list, to be honest. Biggest challenges, I think I can start listing them. I think biggest challenges, there's so many things that come to mind. For example, I think we are having a hard time for a decent amount of our clients, getting them to have time to put on their business, not in their business. Like when you do marketing, you want sometimes, like, hey, we get leads, we get good leads, but their team is not set up to call the leads immediately, to follow up with them, to get them booked, and to do all these things. So what we're doing about it, which is probably one thing I also should add, is like, for a client, like, I think one thing we can do better is we need to be honest with the client. We need to be honest with each other. It's like, hey, dude, like, this is the expectations we have coming forward of you working with us. This is what we need from you. Content, sales team stays on top of things, this, that, the other. Can you do this? Yes or no? And if you can't do it, let's work out a plan to make sure it happens. I think we could have been better at having those conversations at the beginning, but then after, having creative solutions. So a creative solution we're implementing now is, we have one of our clients that's kicking ass. Their team, the way they were set up, they already were doing so many things. So then when the lead was coming in, they were calling them, I don't know, you guys probably even know better, but a day or 2 days after, you can't be doing that with, for example, Facebook leads, you can't be doing that. And so we added AI. So AI reaches out proactively, immediately, and the AI's goal is to book people on the calendar, okay? And then a real person is on the call. You're not, but using AI, I think it's smart to use, and maybe I look back at this like 5-10 years, but for now it's working, it's helping people. It's like using AI to get where our clients can't physically get to is one of the solutions. They can't physically, for one reason or another, create X amount of content or this way of content. Okay, let's try to use AI. Let's try to think outside of the box. They can't reach out fast enough. Let's try to use AI. Let's try to use these other methods. Who else on your team could take this on? I think that's the answer, is trying to innovate solutions on the go. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Honestly, like that one thing I said covers everything. It's really understanding, hey, we will get you business. Most of the things is not, hey, we will get you more leads or not. We will get more leads. Is it the right type of leads? Is your team set up to do it? Do we have everything we need from you? And it's just creatively tackling all those things to make sure we overcome them and we become successful. I think one thing that one of our core values is be humble. I think we need to be humble in the sense of, no, it needs to be done this way. I think in our industry, there is a little bit of that. Oh, this is my process. You freaking got to follow my process. But I think we need to have a little bit of compassion and be a little bit humble and say, okay, how can we make this work for you? Because it's clearly you need or want, a lot of people clearly need to grow their businesses with marketing. And we need to come at it across, instead of on our high horse and saying, this is how you need to do things, otherwise we won't work with you. It's like, hey, how can we make this work? And I think as long as we have that mindset with people, we will be successful. And it's not easy. Like I'm telling you, it's not easy. We've done so many mistakes. I just want to tell it right now. I don't like when someone acts like they got their shit together. We don't have our shit together. We are getting our shit together. We are learning. We have so many amazing clients, so many kind clients that tell us, hey, this is what you could do better. Hey, this is what I'm noticing. So shout out to our freaking kind clients. They're so awesome. Am I where I want to be? No. Are we getting better? For sure.
I love that. Thank you for that honest answer as well. So I know you touched on this a little bit, but I want to ask you, what motivates you on a daily basis? You wake up, what motivates you?
Honestly, before, like as Armenians, I think every day or every week we wake up with bad news. Something happens one way or another. We wake up with bad news. Hey, this soldier has been killed. Hey, this enemy now demands more land, and so, my mission and purpose is like, how do I redirect this negative energy, this negative Azerbaijan, and raised another church nearly recently. So like, can you imagine how horrible that is? Like a church or all these things, like that was there, that was hundreds of years there, and some other nation doesn't even freaking respect that. They don't care. They completely turn it into the ground. Hundreds of years or thousands of years of history. That hurts me so much. Not only like our young boys, which also hurts me so much. Like if I'm being honest with you, Harut, the only place I ever feel that I'm at peace is in Yarablu. Is the only place for those of you guys that don't know, it's the Armenian cemetery, military cemetery. We have 5,000 young boys buried there. That's the only place I feel at peace. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I should be there, maybe among them. At least I would probably feel better. I'll probably feel better if I was buried with them. But since I'm not buried with them, I need to make sure every day I do everything I can in my power to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So you would say that Armenia is on top of the list as far as your motivation goes every day, waking up, getting to work, Armenia would be?
I agree. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So I have one more question for you. What advice would you give to someone looking to advance their career within the company?
Harut, that's a great question. I think first the leadership needs to be there. How can you tell if there's maybe it's even, I'm putting the cart before the horse. The company matters. A company that is fast growing, winning, getting clients, that matters a lot. Not stall or not falling. That matters, okay? But even more than that, I think whenever you are a person of value, you will find your place. So how do you become a person of value? is by basically taking on more than what you're asked for. And that an easy way is like, what can I do this week what else can I take off the plate of my manager? What else can I take off the plate of ArevMedia? Where do I feel like, going back to our core values of a culture of innovation and impact, where do I feel like ArevMedia or my company is not doing an ideal job that I could step in and create a solution on my own without talking to anybody that could make the company better? We will see that. The right person will see that. Whether it's this company or the next company, you have that attitude, people will notice that, people will appreciate that, and people who do more than what they're asked for, they will eventually get paid more than what they've been getting paid for. So I think those are the two things. I think it's consistently self-improvement on your end, but it's also what I just said. It's also looking for opportunities. Like, I'm busy enough, or CEOs are busy enough, hard all day, just trying to keep everything afloat, keep making sure we bring clients through the door. We can't think about, okay, for your example, what could Haru do better to make the company better? No, you have to think about it. You guys have to think about what could you do better to make your company better. Like, I guarantee you come up with an amazing idea for ArevMedia and you pitch it, or even you execute it and you show results without even pitching it on your free time. And I think that's how Gmail came to be. That's how Gmail came to be. I think it's one of the Google products, I think it was Gmail, came to be because, which I think we need to get better as a company on this. Like, hey, like 20% of your time, 10% of your time, like, focus on innovation. Like, what else can we do better? I think taking on more and finding ways to make your department, your position better will make you an invaluable asset wherever you go. And that's the answer, my opinion.
I love it. As far as questions go, I think I'm good. Is there anything else you would like to add for the world out there?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. This has been so great, so many great questions. I think we touched on a lot of things. I think, to recap, I think all young business owners, young entrepreneurs, young Armenians, we have the duty to create something great, something excellent. We can't, now we are, to put it into best, we defeated our enemies with less equipment, less money, and less resources overall in the first Artsakh war. And that's who we truly are. Despite what everybody else says, despite what they're trying to teach us, and internally, externally, they're trying to tell us all these things about how bad we are, how much we suck, how all these bad qualities that we have, that was one glimpse in history. There's multiple others. For example, Sardarabad, where we said, enough is enough. We're gonna freaking take over and no excuses and defend what's ours and make it great again, like Najdeh did, for example. And I think we need to go back to that mentality, all of us. I think all Armenians need to go back to that mentality, whether you are a worker or whether you're an entrepreneur. This is not about you. This is not about buying another car. This is not about getting a fancy house. Okay, that motivates you to grow and, yeah, I understand. Make your family better, provide more opportunities. That matters. But I want all of us Armenians, especially the youth, to have the mindset of the soldiers that liberated the land in the 90s. I want us to have that mindset now. That mindset of, we are going to take clients away from our competitors. We're going to take away everything that is ours. We're going to take everything that we deserve by working hard. And ultimately, we have a duty to do it. we have a duty to do it. We don't have oil, we don't have all these things, but we have the mind. And I think we have the duty all of us have the duty to excel in whatever field that we are in, and that will help Armenia become totally unrecognizable in the next 10, 20 years.
Love it. Thank you for your time, Arman.
Thank you. It was great.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.